Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passenger. Wilderness Sairchild describes herself as an expressive arts therapist, poet, playwright, and grandmother of 6. She said that when she was approaching her 60th birthday, she found herself anxious and full of dread. She conducted interviews and led group sessions with 100 women between the ages of 60 and 95. Those interviews inspired 2 projects. One was Wrinkles the Musical, which she co-wrote and which premiered in 2017. The other was a book of poems, Old Women Talking, which Passenger published, also in 2017. Wilderness said, "I wrote the poems in Old Women Talking out of a need to express my anger, frustration, sadness, joy, and love about what was happening in the world on any given day, and to begin to understand the connection between all these events, to come to terms with family trauma, to find grace in the aging process, and to honor death as a rite of passage." Here's the opening to Wilderness Sairchild's poem, I was turning 65. I was turning 65, and I did not want to be old, but here I was, old. So I started looking at old women on the street, post office, church, Stop and Shop, and I began to see how interesting they are, and I wanted to know their stories, and they became my teachers in growing old. And I'm doing pretty well. Wilderness Sairchild writes a lot about women and aging, but she also writes about her inheritance as an American. Here are 2 of her poems. The first is set at her house in a Cape Cod forest. This is my home, isn't it? I sit in this swivel chair by the fire, this grand white chair now stained with a grandchild's chocolate popsicle. At my feet, a hand-woven rug, where my dog likes to scratch and sleep in a spot of sun blazing through the sliding glass door, the same door that a chickadee crashed into yesterday. She lost her breath but didn't die. I picked her dazed body up off the ground, whispered soft breath into her downy feathers. She didn't move. Then she did. Wings lifted her into sky. I live in a cottage in the woods. My neighbors are wild turkeys, deer, coyote, fox, frogs, squirrels, and a big old snapping turtle that lives in the pond and eats bread from my hand. The pond is named after Micah Rafe, the last Native American to live on this land. I don't know what happened to Micah, his children, or his grandchildren, but I know this land was taken from them by folks who look like me. Yet, this is my home, isn't it? I look out the window at the setting sun. This is my home, isn't it? By Wilderness Sairchild. And here's another one of her poems, The Approximate Weight of Responsibility. I want to be in your skin, you, the child slave in Africa, picking cocoa beans that end up in my afternoon chocolate fix. You, the old blind woman with rotting skin, one of the last eyewitnesses of Hiroshima. You, the American nun in Guatemala, who escapes from your torturers, later to find out your own government was implicit in your abduction. You, the Muslim prisoner in Abu Ghraib, forced to go against your God for the sadistic amusement of your interrogators. You, the Native American children whose playground is contaminated with uranium. I want to be in your skin. I want to be in your skin. That, my friend, is the approximate weight of my responsibility. Wilderness Sairchild's poem, The Approximate Weight of My Responsibility. To buy Wilderness's book, Old Women Talking, or learn more about Passenger and its commitment to writers over 50, go to passengerbooks.com. You can also download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, and the rest of the Passenger staff, I'm John Shore.